We also have some dinner plates in this design.
So where did these come from?
We've sourced all these items from different car boots in the local area.
So these were brought out at the same time as the lily jug. It's got a lovely ring to it. If you think of the way that bone china is made, it should always have a lovely ring to it. It's a little bit like crystal in a way. You're going to get a nice echoing sound from that. We've got 4 plates. Now that's not a set. No. It's 4 individual plates at the end of the day.
Okay.
So they're worth between £25 to £30 each.
Per plate.
Okay, per plate, yes, and you've got 4 of those. As far as the lily jug's concerned, I would estimate that to go at auction between 35 to 45. You could get a bit more because you've got really good packaging there, original packaging in good condition, and you've got 2 of them as well.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Certainly helped us decide what we're going to do with them now, so thank you.
And very good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that the auction's going to be thumbs up for you.
I hope so too, thank you. With it being a designer name attached to the make, I'm hoping it will be quite desirable and sought after. Hopefully make quite a lot of money on the individual pieces.
Hopefully, yes.
Well, let's now see if any of the items take the bidder's fancy in the Greenwich auction rooms.
So here we are, it's auction day now. Are you excited about this today?
I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to seeing everything sell, all being well.
Fingers crossed,
Fingers
that's right. And how much are you hoping to take away today?
I would hope within the region of about £250, £300.
Realistic?
I honestly don't know whether that's realistic or not, but the object of the exercise is, as Annabelle said earlier, not to take anything home with us.
Well, I can't argue with that. Annabelle and Phil's hoard is certainly ceramics heavy, but what does auctioneer Robert Dodd make of them?
Annabelle's got some nice china items, the Zandra Road stuff, it's very nice. It'll make what the reserve is. That is top dollar, that is top money, but it's an auction.
Well, let's hope Robert's right, but we'll see what happens when the hammer falls. First up is that mixed bundle of ceramics, including the Spode plate and the Coalport Father's Day mug, estimated at £60 to £80.
Nice little lot. Bids with me straight in at £22 only on that. Looking for 25. It's worth all of that. Are we all done? Last time at 22, didn't sell.
Not a great start. That collection is unsold, but there's still some good lots to go. How about the Royal Albert Old Country Rose tea set? Perry estimated it at £60 to £80, with a £60 reserve from Annabelle.
Bids with me at £55. Looking for 60 on that lot. We all done. Last time at 55, make the reserve.
Oh dear, another unsold lot. Maybe Annabelle's £60 reserve put the bidders off. Sadly, at £20 to £30, the Royal Albert brooches and plates didn't serve up anything for the kitty. Neither did those encyclopedias at £40 to £60. And that stylish Sandra Rhodes china set didn't even make it off the catwalk. Our last lot is that dainty Coalport Reverie tea set at £60 to £80. Could we end on a good result?
Bids with me at £10 a lot. Looking for 12 on this lot. 14, 15 I'm out. Looking for 18. Are we all done? At £15.
Well, £15 is better than nothing, I suppose.
We're very disappointed that we didn't sell more of the lots, but it's perhaps given us the incentive to try the local auction houses around where we live.
This whole process has been brilliant, and it has given us an opportunity to think outside of the box, and we will continue to do that.
Well, Annabelle and Phil sold only the tea set for £15 at auction, but it seems the experience has been a positive one overall.
We've got our shed back, so we've managed to reorganise that, and hopefully we won't be adding to it in large quantities.
Well, I'm really glad you found it such a helpful and positive experience. That's fantastic. And I'm sure that you'll sell the rest of your items, whether online or via auctions. I know you will.
I think Annabelle and Phil have learned a valuable lesson, and I'm sure they'll continue to downsize and declutter their way to a hoard-free future. Still to come, there's some creative confusion for Bruce and Stu.
I don't know of G. Selby now. No. Was he a cousin of Van Gogh's?
But will their faces be a picture at auction?
At £50.
19. Well done.
Yeah, brilliant.
Earlier on Storage Hoarders, Annabelle and Phil made only a few pounds at auction, but they did manage to clear a load of clutter from their shed. Now it's the turn of Bruce Orme and his mate Stu. Not only was Bruce's barn home to tons of tat, Stu's also been using it to store his own stuff. Antiques and collectibles expert Paul Hayes has been helping them identify the pieces that will hopefully make some money in the sale room.
So what I've managed to do is to put some lots together. These, hopefully, are going to auction. And one of my favourite items has to be this lovely painting down there. Who did that painting? It says G. Selby. Does that ring any bells with you? Was that a family member?
I don't know of G. Selby, no. Was he
No.
a cousin of Van Gogh's?
Could be. It could be Van Gogh's cousin, yeah, definitely. But do you know what? People do buy these old canvases and it's an old frame and it has that sort of retro feel to it. So you're looking, not a great deal, probably 10 or 20 pounds. So you also have a box of copper tiles. I mean, where do they come from?
So those came from Betty's Cafe in the local town of Ludlow. They formed the copper canopy in, like, the old-fashioned cafes.
When that was made, copper was quite affordable. Nowadays, the price of all metal seems to have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So you've got quite a heavy suitcase there of solid copper.
Yeah.
So I think for that reason alone, that box is worth between 30 and 50 pounds, if not a bit more on the day, if someone can work out the actual scrap value.
Yeah.
Well, I must admit, this piece of furniture here is typically what you'd find in an old country pub. And they're called a settle. And the idea was that if you're travelling around the country in the old horse-drawn carriages, you'd sit down for a while, but you wouldn't stay too long. They weren't designed to be too comfortable. But it's old, it's 17th century, or parts of it is. I mean, I think it's had a bit of a revamp at some point. A few replaced timbers. But that's a good old antique item. So I think value-wise, I think you could be looking between 80 and 150 pounds. I mean, how does that sound?
Yeah, that's... I'm quite surprised, actually. Yeah, I thought it was ready for the fire. So, yeah, no, that's good.
A little bit in better condition has to be this coffer. Now, that wouldn't have actually been in a pub. That would have been at the bottom of a bed. It's very much of the 17th century, so looking at the 1600s.
Yeah.
You could be approaching 150, maybe 200 pounds for that one.
OK.
And just to balance things up a little bit, hey, how about these? Yeah, there you see what I did there. Do you know what these were used for specifically? Did they have a particular use? Are they a farming thing or?
I don't know. I've got no idea.
OK.
That sort of thing.
Well, it's certainly an interesting object. I mean, it's the 19th century sometime, and I think it's something that somebody would collect. So I think if that was displayed right, when you're looking at least sort of 20 to up to about 50 pounds for that. I mean, sorry, how much do you pay for it?
Pound.
There you are. You've let one military item go, which is good. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the tank.
Nope.
So tell me again exactly what this does.
It's called a stereoscope.
OK.
And basically how it works, you get two identical photographs and put them side by side. You look at the picture and it was an early way of looking at pictures in 3D. So it meant that people that were looking at reconnaissance photographs could get a real good idea of actually what they were looking at. So it's quite early technology, but quite clever.
Have you any idea what you would want for that one?
I mean, just feeling it, it's a quality item, like a lot of the military stuff is. I think I paid about £20 for it.
Right.
Okay. So...
well, I was going to say, I mean, if I said sort of between 40 and 60 pounds, does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Sounds all right.
Yeah.
Right. That doubles your money and your vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
The jokes keep coming.
They keep coming.
Yeah, they don't get any better, do they?
No, they don't.
Well, between them, the boys have managed to unearth quite an assortment to take to auction, including that antique oak settle, which we hope will make a comfortable 80 to 150 pounds. More antique oak in the shape of this coffer at 150 to 200 pounds. The stereoscopic viewer should get a look in at 40 to 60 pounds. Paul also spotted the oil painting at 10 to 20 pounds. The 19th century scales at 20 to 50 pounds, a set of vintage fishing rods at 30 to 60 pounds, and a box of solid copper tile plates at 30 to 50 pounds. But there's one other thing that's caught Paul's eye too.
Well, I must admit, the real showstopper has to be this ice cream machine. That's a wonderful, wonderful item. Tell me where this come from again.
Castle Lodge Buttery, Betty's Cafe. It was one of the first ice cream machines, the whippy ice cream machines, in the country, if not the world.
Right, well, it's definitely worth finding a bit more about. I mean, do you fancy having a little sort of fact-finding mission and see what we can find out exactly when it was made and whether there's any value to it now?
No, definitely. I think if it's worth some money, it's going to help pay my rent to Bruce, which is going...
Yeah.
To find out more, Bruce and Stu are off to meet Daddy Cool, Dan Smith, who's been repairing machines like this for well over 40 years.
Thanks for bringing this machine along. It's a real old one. Where'd you get it from, Bruce?
Well, it actually belongs to my mother, Betty, who she had a cafe in Ludlow, the Castle Lodge Buttery, and it was in there for 15 years, churning out ice cream for the Americans and tourists, and before that, I think it was there for about 30, 40 years.
Right, that would tie in with the age of this machine, probably from the 70s. The fact about the American customers, this machine was made in America.
Oh.
So it's come a long way from its place of manufacture.
Right, yeah.
And it's a soft machine. Basically, the way these work, you pour your liquid mix into this area at the top, the tank or the hopper.
Yeah.
It then drains down this feed pipe into the cylinder below, where there's a scraper blade that repeatedly scrapes the ice cream as it freezes.
Okay.
And then when it's all frozen, this temperature control turns the machine off. And then when you come to serve, the action of lifting the handle operates a small switch in here as the ice cream comes out onto the cone.
The exact origins of ice cream are unknown, but one of the earliest recipes, dating back to 1618, used a mixture of horse, buffalo and goat's milk. Lovely. The use of ice cream cones dates back to 1904, when an American ice cream seller ran out of dishes, so teamed up with a waffle maker who then rolled the waffle into cones. But what I want to know is whether Bruce's machine is in for a rocky road to repair.
Should we just turn it on and see?
Well, you can, but Bruce has been having a fiddle with it.
Stand back, it's spot.
Whoa!
Yeah, well, normally this part of the machine would get very hot very quickly, and this is stone cold. So I suspect there's no refrigerant in it. And owing to the age of the machine, it's most likely that the freezing cylinder, which is made of mild steel and goes rusty, has corroded. It's got small holes in it. So it would mean stripping the machine down, looking for those small holes, re-welding them, repressurise it, fill it with refrigerant, and it should be back in working condition.
How much do you think it'll cost me to sort it out?
Around about £200 to £300.
Wow. Well, we'll do that, shall we?
Yeah, good.
And hope we have another summer like this one next year.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm actually really excited about the fact that we're going to get this ice cream machine going again.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cool.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Yeah,
really cool.
It will. It'll be fantastic to see it going again.
Well, now it's time to head to auction to see how the rest of Bruce and Stu's lots do when they go under the hammer.
I know that you, Stuart, had some stuff in Bruce's storage facility.
That's right.
So any money that you make today, you're giving it to him for storing all your stuff for nothing?
Well, that's the way it seems to be, yeah. If we could total £400 altogether, that would cover the rent then.
Well, that doesn't seem like an unrealistic target, but what does auctioneer Robert Dodd think of the pair's lots?
I think the coffer, it's a nice old piece of furniture, which I would date at around the late 1700s. Probably going to be one of his stars, I would think. Although we haven't got any reserves on these items, I think we'll get quite close to the estimates on most.
That sounds very promising. Let's see what happens when the hammer falls. We're starting with that box of solid copper tile plates, estimated at £30 to £50.
Bids of me straight in at £40. Looking for 42 on the copper, 45 with me. Looking for 48, 50 with me, looking for 55.